Alrighty, our next speech will be by Amy Roberts. Amy Roberts is a mother of 2, caffeine addicted and culinary hobbyist. She has wings on her feet and is constantly pursuing her next dream. Amy will give her icebreaker, once a Girl Scout, always a Girl Scout. And it's 4 to 6 minutes. This is for Pathways.
As I was trying to figure out how to introduce myself, I thought, okay, everybody knows I work for Girl Scouts, but there's a why to that. And it's more than just so I can collect a paycheck for something I like to talk about. Just kidding, it's so I can collect a paycheck for something I like to talk about. So the way I got involved in Girl Scouts is kind of a cautionary tale, as you might think. My mother was a Girl Scout, I was a Girl Scout, but back in 2009, my husband had the audacity to say, hey, I want Eliza to be a Girl Scout. And I said, no, we are not doing that. There are cookies involved, there's meetings every week, there are patches and badges and journeys and all these things, and I don't want to deal with it. He says, but honey, my mom, who was also a Girl Scout, learned how to cook an egg in a paper bag in a fire. I go, BS. My mother-in-law goes, you want me to show you? Fight over, bam, it's done. Liza joins Girl Scouts as a daisy in kindergarten. She had a, let's say, bull type leader. Everything Shannon wanted, Shannon got. Shannon complained about the girls. She complained about the messes. She didn't like Girl Scouts. And I'm sitting here going, that's my daughter. That's my daughter you're complaining about. So essentially I tell her to shove it. Okay, it gets to that point where we just have it out. I'm like, why are you doing this if you don't like it? That did not sit well with Miss Shannon. So what happened is the next year, as my daughter is Brownie, I find out about a parent meeting that I hadn't been told about. I'm assuming it's because Shannon forgot to let me know. So I go to this parent meeting with my now 8-year-old daughter in tow, and I knock on the door. Shannon opens the door. She steps out on the porch and she says, what are you doing here? I said, I'm here for the meeting. She looks at my daughter and she looks at me and she goes, Eliza's not in the troop anymore. She walks back in and closes the door, and I am left with my 8-year-old girl who is now heartbroken. I take her home, and boy, let me tell you, I let my husband have it, because this was his mess. He got us involved in the first place. And now, the first person who truly broke my daughter's heart was her Girl Scout leader. For a couple of weeks, every Monday, Eliza would go in her room and shut the door for about an hour. Same hour that her friends were at Girl Scouts. I get a phone call from, her name's Rebecca, and she says, I just found out that Eliza got kicked out of the troop too. Do you want to start a troop? It was the funniest thing I think I'd ever heard. I had just had this horrendous experience. And I said, no. She goes, how's Eliza feeling? Crap. So now I'm the most reluctant Girl Scout leader I think anybody has ever had. I say, okay, I'll be your second name. I'll be your second signer, and I will do your cookies, but then I'm doing nothing else. Everything else is on you. Rebecca had, I want to say 5, maybe 6 children at this point. She's up to like 76, something like that. Anyway, she's a baby maker. Just kidding, she really only has 9. But one day, I go to the meeting, and I knock on the door, and Rebecca opens the door, and she has this completely blank stare. She goes, oh my gosh, I forgot about Girl Scouts. I have nothing planned. Well, I'm not fazed. I'm undaunted by being able to just get there, throw something together, spur of the moment. One of my many talents. And so I grab the handbook and I find a badge that I can put together with no prep, very little materials are needed, and I sit down on the floor with these 8 7 and 8-year-old girls, and I teach them my home scientist. And it was so much fun. I taught them about baking soda and vinegar. I taught them about static electricity. I had so much fun. I'm rolling around on the ground with these girls, and I am addicted. I have found my purpose. And I say to Rebecca, so that was kind of fun. I'm going to do all the badges now. And she goes, okay. And she was the puppet master, doing all of the admin stuff, tracking the money, who came to meetings, who didn't come to meetings, who earned what. At one point we had 26 girls from daisies to kindergarten, or daisies to cadets, that's kindergarten to 7th grade for those who are not in the industry. And I found my purpose. That's why I work for Girl Scouts. When they offered me the job, it took a little bit for me to say yes, because that meant I would have to give up my volunteer role, but I would never look back. So once a Girl Scout, always a Girl Scout. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.